Our staff and team were talking about this series before we got started, and we were a little nervous, just to be honest. We were a little nervous because over the last couple of months, the church has really been growing. I mean, if you just look around the room, we had to add extra chairs to this service today because the church is growing. Lots of new people, lots of new friends, and familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while. The church is growing. This first quarter has been an amazing quarter for us as a church. I mean, our attendance is up, our giving is up, our small groups are up. Every month when we do Next Steps, which is today, by the way, so hang out after service, free lunch, and we'll watch your kids get connected in the church, okay? So Next Steps is packed every single month. People are getting connected, people are finding life, and people are experiencing life change through Jesus in amazing ways. Easter Sunday, the largest attended service in our church history. 422 people came to Easter Sunday service. Amazing. And 27 of those were baptized. I mean, people didn't even sign up for baptisms. They were running down the altar. They were jumping in with all their clothes on, cannonball for Jesus in that baptism tank. It was amazing. And people are hearing the message of the good news of Jesus Christ. They're responding to the gospel, giving their lives to Jesus, fired up, passionate about the church and the Lord. And they're like, Pastor, this was amazing. What are we going to do next week? Oh, don't worry. Come back next week because it is the end of the world. You're like, really? I don't know if I'm ready for that. That's why you need to come back, because you ain't ready. It's the end of the world. And so you're like, this week was amazing. What are you preaching on next week? Oh, don't worry. We're preaching on deception, persecution in the church, the rise of the Antichrist, the manifestation of Satan himself. There will be 7 years of tribulation. The sun is going to stop shining. The moon is going to turn into blood. There's meteorites that are going to crash into the earth. Famine and plagues are going to fall everywhere. It's going to be worse than COVID-19, and there will be demon frogs. See you next week. And you're like, And so, to be honest, we were a little nervous about doing the Living in the Last Days series because we had saw so much growth happening in the church. But as this series has unfolded, listening to conversations in the lobby, those of you who are in small groups and talking with new believers and staff members, here's what I have come to the conclusion. I have come to the conclusion that this is actually the best sermon series for people who are new to faith. It's actually the best sermon series for new Christians, the best sermon series for those of you who are new to this church. And here's the reason why, because it helps you begin with the end in mind. For those of you who are new Christians, you're getting this day one. You're going to be miles ahead of people who have been following Jesus for 10 or 15 years because there's even people in the room right now who have been following Jesus for 10 years and they ain't never heard this stuff. And you're getting it day one. So you're literally able to begin with the end in mind. And when you begin with the end in mind, it really not only prepares you, but it protects you. It's going to protect you from falling into the pitfalls and traps that so many Christians today fall in, like becoming a consumer Christian where you think church is just about getting a good word and a pat on the back. No, it's going to protect you from that. It's going to protect you from becoming a casual Christian where you're just settling for the everyday life, just driving your car, singing the latest worship song, listening to the latest self-help album, and then all you're doing is just sharing a post on Instagram. You're like, I did my good deed for the day. It's going to protect you from becoming a consumer Christian, becoming a casual Christian. There ain't no room for sideline saints in the church. There ain't no room for holy hermits in the church. We don't need more armchair theologians who are going to pontificate about big words and they're going to study themselves into disobedience. That's not what's going to happen to you. You're going to be protected and you're going to be prepared because you know from day one, any moment, Jesus could come back. And when he does, I want to be ready. And so you're going to begin with the end in mind. But for those of you who have been following Jesus for a while, this is a reminder. It's a reminder that life is short. And we are not guaranteed tomorrow because any moment, no one knows the day or the hour. Jesus could come back today, which means for those of you who are Christians and been following Jesus for a while, this is a reminder for you that you got to wake up every day and begin the day with the end in mind. What we need to do as a church is we need to be focused on this idea, is that we want to begin with the end in mind, because nobody knows when Jesus comes back. All we do know is that Jesus will come back.